Hello, people. This is Eric Estrada with another episode of the Widow's Son Tattoo Reviews. And today we're going to talk a little bit about apprenticeships and tattooing. We're going to go take a little break from the reviewing nice machines and stuff and talk about the things that people don't talk enough about. I see a lot of people online, and I would say over the 16 years that I've been tattooing come through my doors, and I want an apprenticeship. Some come without a portfolio. That's a very bad no-go. Some come with a portfolio, and the portfolio is not very strong. I guess what I'm trying to say is that your chances of getting an apprenticeship really don't have nothing to do with that. Like, when you come through my doors, the first thing that I'm looking at is how do you represent yourself? Okay? There's no second chance for that. The chance that you have with the person that you want to mentor you, you're not going to get a second chance to impress that guy. Okay? So, how are you? How do you speak? How do you look? These are all things that matter, even though they don't matter. I need the person that is versatile. Overall, the most important thing I would say is, again, how you speak. Because the most difficult part of tattooing isn't going to be, in my opinion, drawing or even tattooing. The most difficult things that I've encountered throughout my career has been deciphering and the additional roles. Okay? So what I mean by deciphering, I mean, when a customer comes through your doors, they're not going to know technical terms. Also, how to deal with the customer politely when, one, they're impolite, but two, when their idea is completely ridiculous. You need to be able to break it down in a non-disrespectful manner and still retain that customer. The other thing that you should keep in mind when you go ask for an apprenticeship anywhere is, why am I doing it? That's very important, because I see a lot of people that jump into this, especially after the Ink Master era and the New York Ink era and Miami Ink era. Why am I bringing up these shows? It's because these shows glamorized our job. Very rarely do they show you the coming in, the cleaning the shop, the big days that you're not busy, all the hard work that you've put in at that time. So those are the things that I would say are very important, because money alone will not be enough to go ahead and push you past the barrier. And what I mean by that is, there's going to be points in this that you are going to leave here cooked. There's some days that you're going to do drawings that are beautiful and everything went perfect. But then there's some days that you make a drawing and there's no other way to say it, it looks like shit compared to your mentors. The first couple of pancakes you're going to do, they're probably going to come out undercooked, burnt, they're going to have mistakes. How do you push through them? Because if money is your sole motivator, you're not going to push through that. If you wanting to be the best artist that you could be to provide for your family, now that's different. I'm not saying that those times of frustration aren't going to come, but they're easier to overcome when you're not in this only for financial gain. Granted, getting paid is what we're all here for, right? It just can't be the only thing. Your mentor's opinion about you is the most important thing. And what do I mean by that is you're going to get a lot of family that encourage you, and it's not a bad thing. Never. The bad thing is when it's a delusional encouragement, when your art clearly is not up to par and your family's like, oh, this is great. What happens is it inflates your head. You should only get your head inflated when your mentor himself has told you that's a sellable design. You could crank that out the door. Now you know you're getting to where you want. So biggest advice that I would give you is present yourself well. Don't present yourself as a bad apple, a negative Nancy, and definitely don't show up high to ask for an apprenticeship, because you'll be out of those doors quicker than anything else. Remember, there's a lot of people that complain about gatekeeping, but if we don't do that to an extent, we're going to have 1,000 million hacks out there. You know, if we don't gatekeep to an extent, okay? Yes, granted, there are those who gatekeep to a point that they don't want to teach anybody because they're scared that that person is going to be better than them in the future. No, I'm not scared of that one bit. In fact, that's what I want. I want you to be better than me in the future, so that you could go ahead and represent my teachings to you well. So that's what I'm going to say you need to think about is before you cross those doors, have a plan. And the plan is not going to be, here's my portfolio, I deserve for you to teach me. The plan that you should have is, this is who I am. I am an asset to you. You need me. Okay? And that might be strange because you're like, damn, I'm an apprentice. How can he need me? No, there's plenty ways that you could bring things to the table that will make a mentor change his mind. It will make that person be like, you know what? This person didn't have a strong portfolio, but all of these other positives, they're good enough for me to teach him. Okay? So that's the biggest advice that I could give you when you're looking for a portfolio is be yourself, be honest about your drawing level, but also think about what you bring to the table. Why it is that a person like me should take the time when I'm supposed to be drawing to improve myself to help you to get to where I'm at. I'm going to pass you on to my apprentice, Jerry, so he could let you know his opinion about apprenticeships and how his has been going on. All right?
What's up, everyone? This is Jerry of the Widow Son Tattoo Reviews. I do the camera work here, do the editing as well. I mentioned that just because, Eric did mention, what are things that are useful to your mentor as a mentee. Before I even came to meet him, he had me look at his YouTube channel, and just to see what I thought of them. I came in, like, I looked at them, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, they're YouTube videos, they're fine, I guess. But I know, like, I've had experience with like editing already, so that's something I did bring up when we had our interview. Even came to Eric. Well, actually, it was kind of like a fell into like Eric's orbit. I did check out like another tattoo artist to see if I can get an apprenticeship from him. There is like this one tip, like, for sure, get to know the artist that you want to train under, get tattooed by them and stuff like that. But sometimes honestly, it's luck. It's pretty much luck. Um, yeah, that first tattoo artist is more old school in terms of like how he gets his apprentices and stuff. He saw my portfolio, said it was fine, but it could be better. Okay, cool, cool. Didn't take me right then and there. So eventually, uh, you know, I linked up with Eric and I came with the same portfolio. I already know my mistake with the portfolio. I thought it was great. Um, but like there was a lot of stuff in there that I drew off Procreate. And to like a veteran artist, you're like, did he just take that from like Pinterest or something? Something like that off Google. But then later on, he tested me to see if I can actually draw, and yes, I can. All mentors are gonna push you to draw, draw, draw. But like, I mean, if you don't know how to do something, if you don't know how to draw a period, like at least my mentor is going to teach me how to draw a period. You know, there's not very many artists who are going to be like that. They won't even take you if you can't even draw a little bit. I mean, luckily for him, I can draw some, pretty decent, so he doesn't have to work too hard to train me to draw. Uh, but other than that, like he did say, like presenting myself and stuff, and having that drive to want to do this thing, um, because a little bit on myself. I'm going to be 33 years old, and I started this year my apprenticeship this year. I have 3 kids. Like outside looking in, I have no business trying to do an apprenticeship, but this has always been my dream. I've always been art centric. So what I'm trying to say is realistically, you're never too late. It's never too late for you to follow your dream. Essentially, if you have the means to go for it, because yeah, there's gonna be you spend a lot of time in the shop. So I mean, if you have the means, go for it. How you present yourself, like because I am of age, almost 33, but I've had regular jobs in the past, a ton of them, honestly. So like I know how to walk into an interview and you know present myself well. Not to say that's fake, because I mean he can attest that everything I've shown him is who I am. Um, Honestly, the funny story that I always kind of randomly bring it up is when I first came, and he first was talking to me, he was like, "Do you do any drugs? Any drugs, period?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Okay, if you do, I'm gonna find out, and you're gone." I'm like, "Fair enough." Like I said, I did get lucky on my mentor. Like, he's been teaching me a whole lot. And I'm branching into different avenues. I like to think I'm pretty helpful to him too. So there are different methods to try to get your apprenticeship. Knowing that person, having a butt ton of tattoos from them, the main part of it is like your art and luck. Luck is like everything in this, because not a lot of tattoo artists are going to be wanting to teach. If you guys have any questions, especially for me as an apprentice, if you have anything for Eric, let us know in the comments. You could follow us on our Instagram and stuff like that. Also, 100 subscribers. I think we're at 51 right now, but come on, 100. I'm gonna keep saying it, and in this manner too, because it is easy. 100. All right, guys. See you later. Subscribe. Peace.